Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devin.
And I'm your host, Kendra.
We are real moms.
Sharing real experiences. The things people don't tell you.
Hey, Mama, hey.
Hey, Mama, hey.
How you doing, friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I cannot complain now.
Y'all, Devin had a time getting on this episode. But we can finally hear her.
Here.
It wouldn't be Devin if there wasn't a tech problem. So it's all good.
It tracks. It tracks.
If this is your first time listening, I'm your host, Kendra.
And I'm your host, Devin.
Welcome. So what's going on today, friend?
I am super excited because we have a guest. And you already know how I feel about this guest because I'm like, Kendra, we have to get him on the podcast. So we found him through social media and his story is just so beautiful. And we felt like it just tracks with our audience. It's so inspirational. He's so inspirational. He's God-fearing. First and foremost, he's a loving husband and father, and like he's just really following his dreams, right? And so to see like him talk about being a security guard all the way to like triple board certified as a pediatrician, a doctorate, like things I cannot pronounce, okay? It's just like it's so beautiful to see because a lot of times in society we see Black men in a negative light. We don't see the positivity and the way he just speaks over his life. Like it was a clip that I saw yesterday when he was like, I am brilliant. And I'm like, yes, you are. And when I saw Drew, I was like, Drew, you are brilliant. So I even talked to my kids like that. So I was like, he has to be on the podcast. And so we engage in each other's content all the time. And when he was like, I'm a fan. I'm like, for real?
Right.
I'm like, we got to get you on the show. And so now that we have this hybrid model where we are able to do in-person and virtual episodes, this is perfect. So I'm so happy it aligned. So welcome, Dr. Russell
Ledet.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. Also, he said,
he's family now. He's RJ.
Yeah, he's family. He said RJ. He said we call him RJ. I was just about to say that unofficially.
Yeah, no, we family. So
but you also work for that title, so I don't know. I might go back and forth.
Yeah. I don't. I always say somebody calling me the title don't make it be the title. What I do with the title is what makes it important. So
there you go.
If I make people feel important, if I make people feel good, if I heal people, then they know I'm a doctor. They get the prescription. They know.
I love that. So I also didn't give your introduction no credit to, like, it's no way I can even break all that down. So we're definitely going to be asking you tons of questions. But one of the first questions we ask our guests, usually it's mamas, but you're a daddy. So we're going to ask you, briefly tell us about your journey to fatherhood.
Yeah. It's funny. I was a security guard when I found out my wife was pregnant with our first child. And I remember coming home at like midnight and then I ran like 10 miles. And I just called everybody I knew and was like, hey, I'm going to be a dad. And I was really afraid. I remember like internally being really afraid. I can say this now because I know how to voice my own emotions. But at the time, I wasn't a psychiatrist yet, so I didn't know these things. But I was like really afraid because, the relationship between my mom and dad was quite tumultuous when I was growing up. And so I was afraid I wasn't equipped to be a good dad. I had never really had a lot of like amazing father figures outside of like a couple people who weren't my real father, but I called them dad. My wife's dad is like one of those people who I call pops. And this guy I met when I was in the military, when I was in Washington, D.C., working as a ceremonial guardsman, was someone who taught me, and he just so happened to be a girl dad like me. Taught me most of what I know about being a dad, and how to have a temperament that works with children, and then obviously becoming a psychiatrist has helped as well. So it's been quite the journey. My kids are the reason why I do what I do in medicine today. I was going to be a radiation oncologist, but my daughter was playing tennis, and I realized that she really needed someone who was sound in how to navigate mental health, because tennis is a very mental health heavy sport, because you're on an island. So my kids have influenced a lot of who I am today, and they've also helped me to survive residency. So we'll get into it, but yeah, it's been quite the undulating journey to get to being the dad that I am today.
Wow. So what I did not know was that you were a veteran.
Veteran too.
Yeah.
Your resume is pretty extensive. So what branch of service were you in?
I was in the United States Navy.
Hey, you were in the Navy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So as Devin gave in your introduction, you are a man who has an extensive resume. Like, you are literally going after everything that you want. And we applaud that, especially seeing a black man going after what he wants and what he deserves is a beautiful sight to see. But we have some listeners who may not know who Dr. Ledet, who Russell, who RJ is.
Yeah.
And high level, like, how do you typically introduce yourself to people? Like, who is the high level version of RJ / Dr. Ledet / Russell / dad / husband, all the things?
Yeah, to be candid with you, like, most of the time, I don't introduce myself. It's too complicated. And sometimes it can even, I think, in many rooms, make people like shrink. So most of the time I'm just like, yeah, I'm RJ. And then they just peel back the layers because they get a simple answer, and they're like, so what do you do? And I actually was thinking of some content today about this exact thing, because every time I'm like, yeah, so I'm a doctor, and they're like, no, like, are you serious? And I'm like, yes, I'm a doctor. And then they say, what kind of doctor? And I try to explain it to them the best way I can. But most of the time I just relinquish myself to, oh, I'm a pediatrician. And then just kind of leave it at that. Because I think part of it is too, man, you know, for me personally, like, I don't know how much value there is to, like, people knowing my entire resume. I always argue that, like, I don't want my patients to know my resume. I want my patients to experience my expertise and walk away being like, I wonder what he did to become that good. And feel like they've encountered with the doctor instead of being told out the gate that they experienced the doctor. Because sometimes when you just tell somebody, oh yeah, he's a doctor, then they expect certain things. But maybe sometimes, in more instances than not, when you don't tell someone you're a doctor, they walk away being like, wow, I wonder what that is. And then when you tell them you're a doctor, they're like, oh yeah, it tracks. So to be candid, like, I usually don't tout it very much. I mean, I'm also in scrubs a lot of times, so people are like, you got 8 letters behind your name, bro. Like, how long did you go to school and all the things? But also my kids have told me many times, like, they just want dad. So I'm like, you know, and my life is very visible. My kids' life is very visible. My wife's life is very visible. So most of the time, people either already know or they end up finding out, and then it becomes the center of every conversation. So I just kind of be quiet or chill out or be around people who already know me, so I don't have to worry about doing that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So tell me a little bit of, like, the support of your wife, because you know, having kids and having a busy husband and like, what does that look like? Yeah,
I'm about to make y'all laugh. I wish my wife was around here. She laughs about this all the time. But so one day I was coming back. I think I had, like, traveled to, I don't know, some company to give a keynote talk, and I was coming back home, and I think my wife was frustrated with the kids, or maybe she was frustrated with the fact that I was gone, and I was on the phone with her and trying to find my car in the parking lot of the airport or something like that. And I was like, and I had this question in my head that I wanted to ask, and I was like, honey, you know, if you could meet anyone, like, who would you want to meet? Like, would it be like Michelle Obama? Or, she was like, I don't want to talk to them. She's like, I don't want to talk. She's like, I want to talk to Coretta Scott King. And I was like, what? And she was so frustrated when she said it. And I was like, wow. I was like, why Coretta Scott King? She was like, because I want to know how in the hell did she survive dealing with him? And she was like, I want somebody who'd have been through something and they survived. She was like, man, dealing with you is hard and it's a lot and it's so much and I just want to know. And now she's like, yeah, I think Michelle Obama would fit the bill too. But
right.
I think she made this comment to me when I was like fresh out of high school. I had just joined the military. I didn't even know going to college was an option. Like I didn't know college was an option until I was 22, 23 years old. So there's that. But she used to always tell me, like, you don't surprise me when you succeed. You surprise me when you fail. So just try not to disappoint me. And so that was like her way of telling me, like, that's how much belief I have in you. And she's like kept that belief, and even in moments when I found myself like complaining, actually I was at the gym like one morning, me and these two other lawyers, we get together, two black men who are lawyers. We like our own little brotherhood who go in the gym every morning, and he was congratulating me on becoming a board eligible pediatrician, and he was like, man, you so blessed, man. He was like, you just so blessed, bruh. And like hearing that from someone who I know is like ultra successful, he like one of the most powerful attorneys in the country. I was like, oh man, I was like, why'd you say that? He was like, bruh, because like you just come to the gym in the morning and like your kids are preparing for school, they didn't say their prayers with your wife, and like everybody's just like flowing, and like you just in the gym and like your house is safe and all those things. Yeah, and that moment was enough for me to realize, like, wow, how much of a blessing is it to like have a life partner who allows you to be at ease, to like take care of yourself, when you got like so much stuff going on. So that's essentially what Mallory has been to me personally. That's my road dog. That's the Bonnie to my Clyde. So that's my dog. 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been married for 20 years. Yeah.
That's blessing.
Amazing. It really is, because you are obviously a very busy man, and everything that you are going after and have gone after requires so much time, mentally, physically, emotionally, and for your wife to be like, listen, don't disappoint me, you got this, like, you got this and I got your back. It's such a beautiful thing, because it's hard supporting a partner in general who is going after things that are not easy, that takes time and patience and years and understanding and all the things. So shout out to Mallory. We have to get Mallory on the podcast, because
and she, I always tell people, like, there's the part of this that like sometimes people don't appreciate is like there's moments that are not public, that are just like the lowest, like most ditch worthy moments. Like I remember when I failed my step 2 board exam, and like it was just me and her, and she just like, and this was in the height of COVID, so she, I'm FaceTiming her while she in the bank, because the bank never closed during COVID. So, and she's worked in finance for like 16, 17 years, and so she was like, yeah, like, okay, so we got to get back on the horse and like figure this thing out. And I had an interview for residency like an hour after I found out I failed that board exam. She was like, yeah, pull yourself together. She was like, they don't need to know that. We need to know that and figure out how to get it back together and get this thing done. And so those moments are really like dealing with the doctor is like a problem. Like and I'm talking about like a medical doctor, because like our phones don't stop ringing, and we get pulled in a million different directions, and I do 24-hour shifts, and and like my wife is like, I leave my bags at the door before I do a 24-hour shift, so my kids know, like, okay, dad won't be here tomorrow. It's kind of my way of preparing them. Like, they see the bags, they're like, okay, dad's not coming back. And like, my friend was like, yo, you leave your house for 24 hours and like you ain't worried about nothing. Like, you know, your kids are gonna get to school. You know, they're gonna be
Right.
fed.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna take their baths and say their prayers. And so, yeah, that's the part of this partnership, especially with medicine, that like people just don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Whew.
she's giving you that sense of peace, and you can't put a price on that.
No.
So,
No, you can't. It ain't
No.
no,
Kudos to
ain't
her.
no price on it.
yes.
Yes.
Like Kendra said, we have to get her on the podcast as well to get
Yeah.
her perspective
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah, I'm interested to hear it because I think sometimes she just like quietly sit in the background. She's just like, yeah, let's just keep going, and it's incredible to like watch from a distance. I'm like, you know what we've accomplished, and she like, yeah, we just gotta keep going, you
Right.
know. So I don't know if she's had too many opportunities to breathe. I think she did a little bit when we were on Good Morning America. She just kind of gave her 2 cents on like what it's like on the other side. But you know, obviously, Good Morning America is not long format, so
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be cool. It'll
Tell
be
we're
cool.
better than Good Morning America. You know.
Yeah,
This
there you
is
go.
real
I agree.
competition.
I agree. Off the record, I agree.
Yeah, you know, they give you a little clip, you know, whatever.
If they call me, I'm gonna have to hop off.
I'll watch you too. You'll get a view from us. You will.
Yeah, there you go.
Tune
There you
in.
go. There you go. There you go.
RJ, you mentioned early in the conversation that your daughter plays tennis and how there's a huge mental component to that game. And that is part of the reason, you know, you kind of went into the field of work that you're in. But I know there's more to that story. Have you always wanted to have a career in this space, or is it something that just like popped in your head one day and you said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go after it, and that's it?
So I think this entire journey started when I was on a deployment. We were deployed to, well, we were on a Mediterranean cruise, like deployment on a ship, and we stopped in Casablanca, Morocco. And while we were in Morocco, we went to an orphanage that was really close to like the third largest mosque in the world. And I saw a lot of children there who like never got an opportunity to read, and you know, they probably won't ever really have opportunities for formalized education. And I remember coming back and telling my wife, like, hey honey, like I'll never take education for granted ever again. I didn't know what I was capable. I still to this day did not. I will always contend I did not know I was capable of doing what I've been able to accomplish. But what I did know was that like, who am I to let a rock cry out for me? Like I'm just not gonna, there's no opportunity that's gonna be presented to me that I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm too good for that. Like I don't need to do that. There's no teacher, there's no office hours I wasn't willing to go to, none of that. And so going to college was just my wife encouraging me that I needed to get a safer job. She's like, yeah, like you just can't keep deploying, bro. Like I'm gonna need you to get a better job, bro. Like this ain't it. So so she said you could go to college, and I remember my response to her being, I thought only white people go to college. And she was like, nah, I went to college, and like my aunts and uncles went, and I was like, yeah, nobody in my family went to college. She was like, well, I tell you what, I'm gonna help you apply. She helped me to apply to LSU and Southern University. I got into Southern University, and then we moved there, and then I had to get a job because now I was in the reserves of the United States Navy, so you don't make as much. So I got a job as a security guard, and then, you know, when you're in the hospital, if you're paying attention, you'll see like some amazing things happen. You see surgeons, trauma surgeons come into ERs and revive people and resuscitate people who are about to die. You'll see people with strokes and heart attacks, and even like some of the simpler things, like you just see the motion of medicine, and it captivated me. Like it captivated me in a way that like almost every doctor can describe that moment that medicine bit them. It was kind of like a spider bite. You know, and then the venom is like is kind of like poisoning you to be crazy. crazy enough to like do all the things necessary to become a doctor, which I ain't got time to tell y'all all the things it takes to become a doctor. So
We'll be here all day.
yeah, we'd be here all day. But then, I asked a lot of doctors like, hey, can I shadow you? What's it like being a doctor? All these other things. And you all know the story. Many of them said no. They're like, yo, you don't really look like the type to become a doctor. You ain't like security guards don't become doctors. All these kinds of things. And obviously I make this joke that they were right. Security guards don't become doctors. They become double doctors. Like, because I went from being a security guard to an MD PhD. So I really went way too far. But that opportunity with Dr. Patrick Greifenstein, who was the first person to let me shadow him, and then I didn't get into medical school, so I decided to go and get my PhD at NYU School of Medicine. And then my wife encouraged me, like, let's apply to medical school again. And we applied again. And the second time, I was a much more desirable candidate. So I ended up getting a full ride. And I've gotten all this education and haven't paid for any of it. So
Wow.
it's been a full ride since day one. And we've been riding and surfing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, do it. Let them pay
Yeah,
for
we're
it.
gonna keep serving. Yeah, so like, I always argue, like, I got over $1 million worth of education. I did not pay for it. And so, yeah, it wasn't my intention to become a doctor. My intention was to become a social worker by the time I got to college. And I just sat in a chemistry class and the teacher was like, we need social workers, but also, why are you so smart? Like, so like, have you ever thought about becoming a doctor? So, yeah, the journey it was not what I intended to be, but I'm actually glad that it was what it was, because I got a lot of emotional intelligence out of it, but also I built a lot of resilience. I met a lot of amazing people who have encouraged me and supported me along the way. And then, my wife and I got to live in New York City. So we kind of did what Alicia said, which is like, if you can live here, you can live anywhere.
Live anywhere.
Yeah,
I love New York.
Yeah. So I'm originally from New York. I'm from Harlem. So
Okay.
it's
125th.
True. It's true. I'm from 114.
Okay.
But not too far from 125.
I got you.
I want to shout out HBCUs.
Yes.
Southern. You said you went to Southern University.
Yeah. I went to Southern University and got a bachelor's degree in chemistry and biology.
Okay, we went to FAMU, so we have that HBCU love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know some people who went to Southern. We'll have to talk, see if we have some mutual friends.
We probably do.
So on this journey that you're on, because it seems like you're still on the journey of accomplishing all these great things, what is one word you would use to describe your journey? Or it could be two. One word might be hard.
I think that one word would be grateful. Like, I'm just grateful that I was chosen to take on this journey, because like, in my level of gratitude is insane. That's why, like, I don't never boast or brag or anything. Like, I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful I got to live this life, because I've lived a rich life. Not in money, but I've just had some experiences that I'm sure will probably be duplicated in heaven. So I'm grateful.
We love it.
That.
We love it.
Love that.
So let's take a bit of a shift in the conversation and talk more about fatherhood. So you mentioned that you went on a 10-mile run when you found out that your wife was pregnant. But I'm curious to hear how fatherhood changed you. Like, it's clearly you have created this path for yourself, and I imagine that your children were a large part of that. Like, you talked about your daughter and tennis and all the things, but how has becoming a father changed you, or how did it change you, I should say?
I think above everything, it made me more efficient. I teach my kids all the time that, like, time is non-refundable. And you can't get it back, so you need to be efficient with your time. You need to have high value for every minute that you spend. You can't have wasted minutes unless it's intentional. Um, and so that's what it's made me, is like very efficient. It's also made me very intentional. It's made me to some degree selfish, in a healthy way. Because like when I'm on my video game, I'm on my video game. Like I'm taking my time for myself, because if you want me to be strong for you, you can't pour from an empty cup. Um, and so I really want to be able to be there for my children. And so I got to be there for myself first, right? And so I think it's made me very intentional. It's made me very efficient. And I think ultimately it's made me a better husband. Because um, I, I never got to see a man like uh, put a woman in his life on a pedestal for like helping to raise his children. I wanted that from my mom, but it just didn't. It didn't work out. It wasn't in the cards for her, and so now I get the opportunity to like kind of be the person in the movie theater watching this movie happen of like motherhood, but like motherhood that's supported and nurtured and resource filled and like and spiritually grounded. Like I get to see motherhood in a way that for me is almost ideal, which is not that's not what I saw as a child. Right, I saw my mom perform in less than ideal conditions, like elite at an elite level. But now I get to see a woman operate at an elite level with all the resources, which is like a whole different level. It's not better, it's just different. And so for me, it's made me learn how to be a supporter instead of the person trying to be the main show. Because like when you are a physician, more often than not, you're the main show, right? Like everybody's in awe of the few physicians we have in our country. We don't have that many. And so, you know, everybody's always in awe, but like I'm always in awe of my wife, because I'm like, yo, I couldn't be you. Like I couldn't do the things that you figure out how to do and the things that she now, because like it's demanding to be around me, and like I couldn't imagine I can't do what she does and operate with the efficiency that she operates with and the grace. And so it's made me a better husband. Yeah, and I think I've just been more willing to acknowledge out loud that like I'm just not that good. Like I'm learning. You know, I told my daughter last night at like 11 o'clock, I was like, look, this is my first time being a dad of a teenage girl.
Right.
So like, this is my first go round. I'm going to get some stuff wrong. Like, I just need you to be on the same team as me and just let me know where I'm getting it wrong, but in a way that's filled with grace and some compassion and some empathy, and like work with me, because I'm new at this. But you new at this too. So we both go figure this thing out together.
Right. I love that. So I have a question for you too. Like, so as an expert and as a dad, do like the lines ever blur? So during the day, my day job, I'm a school psychologist, and at night I'm just mom, right? But sometimes those lines blur. And so sometimes I really have to tell myself, like, what would I tell my parents in this moment? Because these kids will try you. And so it's just like, do I put my mom hat on, or do I put my psychologist hat on, or do I put both hats on? So are there any times where things blur from you? And like, how do you teach your children emotional intelligence, resiliency, like all the things that you talk about? How do you instill that in your children?
Yeah, first thing is I give my kids a lot of freedom to communicate. You know, I remember I had done this piece of content where I asked my daughter, like, when you ask me for help, like, differentiate. Like, what kind of help do you want? Do you want, like, the listening help? Do you want the responsive help? Or do you want the like, leadership help, where, like, I take charge and, like, lead you where you need to be? Or is it kind of like a negotiation space? And like everybody's like, wow, it's like so incredible that like your daughter like gets to choose. And I was like, it wouldn't make sense if she didn't. Like, she asking me for help. Like,
Yeah.
and so I think I think there are techniques, and there are like approaches that inevitably come from what my job is, that spill over into my fatherhood. But then there's like this, this undeniable emotional component that can override all of that, and like in heated moments you lose it, and you got to come back and be like, yo, my bad, yeah, I lost it in that moment. And it's cool, my daughter will be like, yo, yeah, dad, you was off on that one, cuz, but it ain't no problem, we'll laugh about it, go grab a Dairy Queen or something, and then just keep it moving,
Yeah.
So I think there are inevitably moments where, there's lines that are blurred, but I do, so I meant to say this. So my wife, I think I can probably count on one hand how many times my wife has called me doctor. Maybe once, maybe twice, like maybe, but it's rare. Like, it's very, I can't remember too many times that she's done it, and I think it's intentional because she's like, at home, bruh, you just dad, dog. Like,
Yeah.
you a dad and a husband, bruh. She like,
Yeah.
I don't care. She's like, that's a job. She's like, and I'm sure you probably got some, there are moments when she like, should this kid go to the x-ray room? Like, should we go get an x-ray or whatever? And I'm like, nah, because if we go there, I'm gonna have to tell them to get the x-ray. Like, they gonna be like, RJ, what do you want? And I'm like,
Right.
oh God, I'm only here because my wife made me come here. Like, I couldn't
looking
deal
at
with
this.
this at home, I swear. I'm a very competent doctor. Like, but I think it's intentional, and I think early on I was like kind of bitter about it, but now that we're older, and I've been a PhD since, I guess, like 2018. Wow, yeah, 3 more years, it'll be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow, that's crazy.
I've had doctor behind my name for 10 years, almost 10 years now, and but 7 years ago I would have been better about it, but now I'm just like, no, like, yeah, it's not that important that you call me doctor. Like, I just need to be dad at home, and and just be a husband at home, and be like a dog dad, or like a planter, or a golfer, or a basketball player, or a video game dude, or whatever. I don't need to be none of that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you gotta hop into it because somebody just need it, but
Right.
yeah.
I'm like that with my husband. We were talking before. I told you he has a PhD in psychology, and he's a child psychologist. I ain't calling you no doctor. Nah. But when my
Somebody else to get
right, when he has his moments, then I'm like, how we handling this? Because
yeah.
me, I was raised by a Southern black mama. And
Turn up.
raising our son differently, right? If you read between the lines. So I often lean on him, like, with handling certain situations, because I'm not trained the way you are to handle this situation, and I want my child to grow up feeling like he's comfortable to express himself in a way that is, like, you should be comfortable expressing yourself, but respectfully, right?
Yeah.
So he's 6, so we're in the tantrum phases, and we're working on tone, and don't talk to me like that. It's a whole thing over here. So I lean on Dr. Ferguson a lot with that.
Yeah, there you go.
My Southern black mama who raised me, she tries to come out. So I'm with Matt.
Wait until adolescent years. Just wait. Just wait. The attitude is there now. Just wait.
Man.
So,
I ain't ready for that. I'm not. So we talked about your career. We talked about you being a father, being a husband. You mentioned a dog. You got a dog too?
yeah, we got a dog too.
What you got?
We got a toy golden doodle.
Oh,
Aw.
what is that?
Cutie. That's a cute
Yeah.
little one.
I need to get on Google.
Yeah, we got
I
it.
don't know what that is.
It's a toy. It's like a really small dog.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they don't get
If you
big
see
at
it,
all.
you would know it.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
go
you
Google
know,
it.
it's
Okay.
really small, cute dog.
So you wear a lot of hats, RJ.
Yep. Yep.
But we want to know, like, at what point in your life did you realize that you have the ability to inspire people? You have a story, clearly. But at what point did it hit you like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna share my story and it's gonna help somebody. And like, at what point did we realize this?
Yeah, I think the first time I realized it, I'm about to get somebody in trouble.
No, we had nothing to do with this. Just whoever listening.
The real mama pot ain't had nothing to do with this. I'm gonna throw Dr. Marcus Lambert from SUNY Downstate under the bus. So I never forget this. This guy, one of my closest friends, man, Dr. Marcus Lambert. I was getting my PhD, and he and I were taking a training from somewhere. We were in New York City. We were taking a training from somewhere, and at the time he was a dean at Cornell, at Weill Cornell in New York City, and he was like, "Yo," he's like, "Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you something," and I was like, "What's up, bro? Like, what's up?" He's like, "Yeah, like I need you to come and like give a talk." And the talk was that I think it was like one of the first times I'd ever like given a formal talk. And the talk was at I was like, "Okay, where's the talk?" He was like, "It's at Rockefeller." I was like, "Rockefeller what?" He's like, "Yeah, Rockefeller University," which is like one of the most prestigious universities in the world. So many Nobel Prize winners there, all these things. And so I'm like, "Bro, what's this about?" He like, "Yeah, man, we had this other person who backed out of this talk, so we need somebody to replace him." And I was like, "Me?" Mind you, at the time that he asking me to do this, I'm also in the process of applying to medical school. So I'm applying to medical school for the second time, and he didn't tell me who I was even going to be talking to. He just like, "Yeah, just come over to Weill Cornell Medical School. We'll walk over to Rockefeller, which is right there on York Street in New York City, in Manhattan, and like just give this talk." So we get there, and I think he got up there and was like, "Yeah, so like we gonna have Dr. Ledet," which at the time I wasn't even Dr. Ledet yet, and he was like, "Yeah, we gonna have him come and just tell us his story." I had never in my life done that before. I didn't even realize I had a story. I just was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna get up here and just tell these people everything that I've been through and like how I got to where I'm at." And like a lot of the people in the room were like medical school deans. They were like the deans of medical schools. Like,
Wow.
And he didn't tell me that part. Like, he didn't tell me that. And like some of the people on this panel sitting next to me were medical students, and so in that moment, like a couple of the deans walked up to me and were like, "That's the most powerful story I've ever heard in my life. Like, who are you? Blah 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 blah." And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm just a dude, man. I'm just a dude. Been through a lot." And then afterwards, they were like, "So, like, you're applying to medical school? Like, would you love to come to our medical school? Would you love to come to our?"
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, "What? Y'all just like that's how this works?" Like,
Right.
Look
and
at
it was kind of like an interview before an interview. Yeah, look at God. It was like an interview before the interview, right? And I was like, "Yeah, I hope I get into medical school." And they was like, "Yeah, bro, you getting into medical school." Fast forward, time went on. I applied to medical school, and I got an interview at Weill Cornell Medical School.
Wow.
And we sit in this room, and when you go to these medical school interviews, they like give everybody a goodie bag with like a lot of stuff in it, and they had a magazine in there. And I was just sitting there quiet because I was the only black person interviewing that day, and I ain't know nobody. And at these Ivy League interviews, most of the people who are interviewing, a lot of them also go to Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
So a lot of them know each other, and all these people started looking at me. I was like, "I know I'm black. Like, I know. Appreciate
Right.
it, but I know, I'm aware. I know. I'm the sore thumb sticking out. I get it." And they were like, "Yo, is this you?" And I was like, "What y'all talking about?" They was like, "Yeah, pull out this magazine out of your bag." And there was a picture that was taken while I was giving that talk at Rockefeller. That was on
Wow.
the cover of the magazine. And
That's
most of those
crazy.
people now in that room were like, "Well, we know who's getting into this medical school."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, in that moment, and like they ended up like reading some stuff about what I had talked about that day, and some of the people I went interviewing with were like, they were actually people who were like legacy. So like, they kind of They had some expectations.
Mamas, grandmas.
They was like,
went
yeah, they like, out of all the people in this room who went there, like, you want to cover this magazine?
Right.
Yeah.
And so Marcus was there that day, and he was just like, he was just laughing, and I think they had set me up, but yeah, and that was the moment that I was like, yeah, I'm worth something. It wasn't about inspiring people. It was the first time I said to myself, like, yeah, I'm worth something. I'm like worth something very valuable, and I think especially black boys and even black men, like, they rarely hear somebody tell them, like, yo, you're worth a lot, right?
Yeah.
We protect things that are highly valuable, and sometimes we don't protect things that, well, some of the job is on us to protect ourselves, but when we're not aware of how valuable we are, we don't know to protect ourselves, because we protect things that are highly valuable, but you got to first know that it's valuable.
Exactly.
So
yeah, that's this podcast was birthed under very real conversations. Like, I experienced a miscarriage many years ago, and this was before the podcast was even a thought, and I felt it in my spirit to share my story. I don't know why, but I did. And because I shared my story, there were so many women who reached out and said, thank you for sharing that. I don't feel alone now because I experienced a miscarriage either last year before last week. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, me sharing something that was a very vulnerable experience really made the next mom or next woman feel that she has community in something that she traumatically went through. So you just never know how your story can impact the next person. So if anyone's listening and you feel that you have something to share it, because you never know 100%. How it can support the next person. So hats off to you, RJ, for listening to the doctor who you threw under the bus, because that person really, kind of cracked the door open and you busted wide open. So I love
listen,
100%.
everything happens for a reason. Perfect timing. Like, I know you mentioned, like, oh, I didn't get into med school the first time, I got my PhD instead, but it was supposed to happen that way. It wasn't supposed to happen
100%.
any other way. You got a free ride, your whole education, like, that probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have.
You wouldn't have been on no cover, no nothing.
No. Now I'm on covers all the time.
I know. I love it.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. Kind of dope. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. So what do your kids think about all of this?
Oh, man, we have this conversation all the time. My kids know me as dad. They just like, yo, that's my dad. Like, actually, every time we like go to a Starbucks or we out somewhere, they just like, people are like, what do you think of your dad? They like, that's my dad. Like, it's just, you see this dude at home, he is not who y'all, like, this dude is like a silly clown. Like, he is a clown, He like running around the house going crazy because he scored a touchdown on a video game. Like, he just, or he leaving socks everywhere, or he always invite people over to watch football or whatever. So, like, they get to see the human version of me, and I try to display as much as I can of like who I am as a human being. I just think my story is so captivating. That's just what content people want. But I think my kids, they deep down have an appreciation, but they also have a yearning for just dad.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like this constant trying to fill their cup with being like, yo, listen, I'm still just your dad, okay? Like, I get it. My oldest child, when she was 8 years old, was on Kelly Clarkson, and I remember her going to school a little while later and be like, Dad, it's a lot of pressure, man. Like, I walked down the hallway and teachers are pulling me to the side to be like, was that you I saw on Kelly Clarkson? And this and that. And, so, I think my oldest child has had to navigate it a little bit more than my baby girl. My baby girl is like, yeah, I'm just going to be a doctor just like my dad. Like, that's just what it is, but she grew up seeing it come to fruition, and so there's that part. And then the other part of it is like there's a level of pressure that is uncomfortable for them.
I was just about to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah, they said my oldest child, I'll never forget, like we were getting on her about some SAT prep stuff when she was like in the 7th or 8th grade. She just wasn't meeting expectations. Like that's just the reality of it. She wasn't meeting expectations, but maybe as parents we weren't setting her up for success, and I don't know, it was a balance of issues across the board. And I remember her just like, she was yelling and crying. She was like, Dad, I'm not you. She's like, I am not you. She's like, I can't be you. I'm not trying to be you. I don't have what it takes to be you. She was like, do you know what it's like to be your child?
Oh.
She's like, do you know what it's like to be in the house with somebody as smart as you? She was like, I can't even come up with a problem that you probably can't solve. She's like, all my math problems you can solve. She's like, I just want one time for me to ask you a question and for you to be like, we're both going to be stumped on this one. And so sometimes I just fake it and be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does that make you
Let's
feel?
just get it wrong a couple of times. What's that?
How did her saying that I'm not you, like, how did that make you feel?
In the moment, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. In the moment, I was like, well, you better figure out how to become some version of me. I was like, 'cause that's what this world is gonna demand of you.
Yeah.
I was like, you my child. That's what this world is gonna demand of you. They gonna expect that you some version of me. The product that come out of this house gotta make sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you gonna have some questions to answer.
Yeah.
And she hated it in the moment, but now she's a freshman in high school. She's at one of the top high schools in the country. And my wife and I were actually having this conversation with her last night at like 11 o'clock at night. And it was like such a refreshing, proud parent conversation. We woke her up. And my wife and I were debating whether or not to allow her to go hang out with one of her friends, to like go to lunch and then go to Sky Zone or something like that. And it just didn't work out from a timing perspective. But my wife and I were trying to tally up like the good versus the things she needs to work on. And we were like, wow, like we can't really come up with too many things she needs to work on right now. And the biggest reason why was because we didn't even have to start telling her to prepare for her midterms. We have not once had to tell our child, study for your midterms. This child is studying anywhere, everywhere. She knows exactly what resources to go get. I taught her about Anki when she was in the 5th grade, so she's studying like somebody in medical school already, and she just did it on her own. And in that moment, I was like, oh yeah, she doing the thing that we expect of her, which is like, as a parent, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Especially at that age where the prefrontal cortex is not where it needs to be, and but you see him trying really hard.
Right.
You see him doing the things, and all you can do is sit back and be like, "You go, you go." So
Love that. So do they? I know you said the youngest wants to go to medical school. What about your oldest? Is she going on that track or?
so
Still unsure?
Her number one mentor is the lead juvenile judge for the state of Ohio. So she spends a substantial amount of time with Judge Stroud. And so I have a feeling that she might become a lawyer and maybe a judge, but she also has expressed to us interest in going into like French interior design and wanting to go to interior design school in Paris. So we were able to take her to Paris in June, and she loved it. She was just like, this is so beautiful and so amazing, and she loves designing the insides of homes. And so we don't really know yet. She's a little bit more undifferentiated, but our baby girl is like, but what's interesting is that like there's a part of me that thinks that she may end up becoming a doctor. When she was a baby, I would study for medical school with her in my arms. So I would like read my medical school books to her to put her to sleep. And now she's older, and like when I do questions to prepare for board exams, she just like, oh yeah, that's the answer. Like that should be Staphylococcus aureus, or we should give them bacitracin, or they need Bactrim or whatever. Like she just
How old
and she gets it right.
7? How?
She's 15.
Fif-
No, this is our 15-year-old.
This the oldest.
15-year-old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still,
Yeah, she's 15.
Right. I don't know nothing you just said. Oh my goodness.
that's hilarious.
Well,
That's funny.
I have enjoyed this conversation. It's always refreshing to hear from the dads. We take pride in supporting fathers because we see our husbands do it every day. And, you know, we have our moments where we may pick at them, but overall, they are amazing fathers, and we love to hear the father's perspective. So, this has been an amazing conversation, RJ. You're now our cousin. You are cousin, so we got to get our cousin.
I appreciate
Mallory
it. Yeah.
So,
I appreciate it.
RJ, if you've listened to our podcast, we have segments of our show. And my segment is Mama Juice. And Mama Juice is a cocktail. And of course, we have mocktail versions too for our community who don't indulge in the spirits. We support them as well. But we always try to theme cocktails around our conversations, our guests, and such. Now, usually I ask, like, what's your favorite spirit if you drink? But we didn't get a chance to have that conversation, RJ. So I made up something myself. Well, my husband helped me. But the name of your drink is called the Ascension. And it's called the Ascension because there's no roof for you. Like, the ceiling is completely broken and you just keep going up. Like, you're ascending. Like, you know, and you're going to continue to ascend until, you know, the Lord says, come on home to me. So there was no other name for this drink. And I played around with ingredients that I'm like, he's a doctor. It's flu season. So we need some lemon. We need some honey, whatever. Cranberries if your kidneys hurt, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
This drink.
Cranberries in your kidneys hurt. Lord Jesus.
So it is, and these are just the ingredients. I don't have the measurements. I'll put them in the description. But it has a cranberry, rosemary, cardamom simple syrup. And so it's honey, cranberries, rosemary, and cardamom pods that you make a simple syrup out of, mixed with bourbon, lemon, and honey. And it's December, so I have it in my festive holiday cocktail glass. It's really good. RJ,
How did it turn out?
I like it. We had a holiday party this past weekend, and I made that simple syrup for another drink. And we were like, let's use this for this drink too, because it definitely works. Like, you know, again, kidney, you know. So
Yeah, of course. And you gotta find cardamom. You gotta go to a certain market to find cardamom.
see, you know. So, but it's good. RJ, I love a good crafted cocktail, so we try to be very strategic about, you know, around like how we craft our cocktails. So I hope you like bourbon if you drink, but if not, you're in Indiana, so I feel like you're near Kentucky. You know, y'all, you know, Bourbon City. So
we can figure it out.
But that is.
I said I was gonna be dry throughout the rest of 2025, so maybe 2026 I might drink. I don't know. I haven't decided on whether or not I'm gonna drink.
No pressure. You drink.
I go back and forth too. So
sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I need to do this or not.
I haven't reached that moment yet. I don't think.
And it helped me sleep at night to know. My sleep schedule is much better.
See, you're a doctor too, so you have a whole different level of understanding with like how alcohol impacts the body. You know.
You need your white matter. You need your gray matter. Don't drink that much alcohol.
I don't drink a whole lot. I don't drink as much, you know, as people may think. Maybe a cocktail a week.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But yes, that's Mama Juice.
Okay.
I like the Mama Juice. I like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to make him a mocktail next time, friend.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes.
There you go.
It's all good. Now, Mallory, she drinks, so
See my cousin Mallory. Let's go. Let's go, Mallory.
Yeah, we got to get Mallory on.
She got to drink. So
you, your kids, and your dog. Yeah,
exactly.
she needs a drink.
She's like, I need a drink. Please make one.
Okay, so if this is your first time listening, my favorite segment is Mama's Corner. So this is our opportunity to connect with our guest further or answer a listener's letter. And so I do have an additional question for you. So to the young black male, okay, because we're trying to get these babies. We really are. And it's really hard with social media. The social media component today really impacts these babies, right? And so there's not a lot of positivity, especially if your algorithm is set a certain way. They may not ever come across your content because of what they're clicking on, right?
Sure.
But to the young black boy that's feeling trapped or don't have the example or don't see college in their future or don't see anyone in their family or surrounded, because I'm a first generation kid too, as far as like graduating high school and college, so and going on for a higher degree. So I do understand that aspect of it. Like sometimes it doesn't feel attainable because you haven't seen it, or it could be very scary because you don't have any idea where your resources are going to come from because nobody can tell you where to go. So you got to try to figure that out all on your own. But to that little baby who is just feeling trapped and don't know where to go, what do you say to him?
The first thing I'll say to them is like, I need you to believe that you're valuable. I think kids understand value and they do a better job of taking care of things that they feel are important. But I think if kids don't think that they themselves are important, then they kind of throw their lives away sometimes. And I know that because I do therapy with incarcerated kids all the time. And that's the setting in which they realize and hear for the first time, oh, I'm worth something. I tell every kid, and I'm telling this to the listener too, like your brain is the equivalency of a Ferrari. You gonna have to take care of it though. You're gonna have to put air in the tires, you're gonna have to change the oil, you're gonna have to read the manual, you're gonna have to do some things to take care of this Ferrari. You're gonna have to figure out where you gonna park it at, which is your conversations, who you surrounded by, who you willing to be influenced by. Because all those things play a role in what the ending value of that Ferrari is. Like, personally, what I've done with my Ferrari is I've invested a lot in it, especially in the engine, and how I think and what I think about and what I read and those kinds of things. And so for a kid who's feeling trapped, I need you to know that you're valuable. I need you to believe it with everything in you, that I'm valuable, that I'm worth investing in. And then the second thing is, I need you to go grab hold of and stay attached at the hip to the most positive person in your life. Because you cannot do any of this alone. If you feeling trapped, it's probably because you also feeling alone. So
good.
whether that's a teacher or a principal or a coach or an uncle or an auntie or maybe a parent, somebody, I need you to get somebody and be like, check in on me every day.
Right.
Whether I like it or not. Because kiddos need guidance, man. Like every once in a while you get a kid who's like really self-driven, but most kids need a lot of guidance, And sometimes we relinquish that to assumptions that because they have access to all this different stuff that they're gonna be straight. But I still pull all the young bulls to the side and, and give them real wisdom. I meditate with a lot of kids. I meditate with them to Kendrick or to AJ McQueen, not to nothing weird, but also like Chief Adjua Tunde Scott, or Jonathan Blake or Miles Davis. Like I introduced them to Robert Glasper and those kinds of things. And so I think it's that, and I'm talking about kids who like out here toting switches, like that know how to meditate. So I think these kids, you got to be able to cross over into that world and then grab hold of them. And sometimes they just need a hug.
Yeah.
which sometimes we forget. We forget to like give these kids a hug, man.
Yeah.
I done had kids. I gave them a hug, man, and they just cried. They just was like, I ain't had no hug like this, and since I was a baby, probably.
Right.
So, yeah.
That was good.
Yes,
That was
indeed.
really good.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. What do we say after that? But thank you for listening.
Thank you. and thank you for your time. Like, we know you're a very busy person, and you still carved
It ain't no
out time for us, and we do not
It
take
ain't no
that for
problem.
granted. And we will be hitting you up so we get your wife on too.
Yeah,
So
we
just let her
Sounds
know.
good.
4 times. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that RJ, we cousins now.
I'm gonna let her know this evening that I signed it
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Well, ask permission first. If she gives us the green light, let us know.
She'll give y'all the green light. I think she'll be fine with it. But I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I'm gonna
much.
continue to support the Real Mama Pod.
Thank
We
you.
will
Thank
continue
you.
to
We
support
appreciate
you.
that.
Keep us posted on all the certification tests you got to take, and when it's all done, it never is.
I don't think he's ever going to be done. He's going to find something else to do.
That's why
As soon as he's done with that.
Yeah, we writing a cartoon right now. So
Okay. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
So.
Well, this is great. We can't wait to have you back and tell Mallory all about us.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, we'll do. Appreciate y'all.
Well, until next time, mamas. Bye.
Bye.